everything in the world is evidence. But how we use that evidence, for what reason, and how much weight it carries in the world is important. Evidence all starts with the origin of math and language, and then it becomes an object of precedent or record of history, becomes of value or meaning. Evidence is what we use to support a cause or an effect or an event or people or places or things. It all goes back to who, what, where, when, why, and how, and what event, and existence, and nature, and science. Evidence is used to show that something is true or false, whether it's guilty, not guilty, or used for any purpose. Evidence starts with the sciences. When you study science, you're going to learn about evidence. Evidence is a tool to show, like I said, true or false. Something that is true or false. Anything, any person, any existence. It all starts with mathematics, language, physics, chemistry, biology, and even religion. It starts with law, human nature, the nature of life, time, hypotheses, anything could be a piece of evidence. And when it's necessary to provide evidence, it means that there is an argument to show that the evidence is there for the valid reasons of all of the above. For any reason. To address a court or even privately, you can use evidence, or publicly, you can use evidence to show that something is true or false. True or false means Boolean. If something is Boolean, it is either true or false, giving the circumstances. So, evidence all starts with particles and spaces and geometry, algebra, calculus, mathematics, and the system of nature and its existence, and beyond nature, the supernatural. We can't exclude anything from truth, but we can only say that we can't find it true or false. So, evidence all starts with particles. You work your way up a hierarchy of law and science to build those particles into systems and even universes and people and creatures and things and everything. You have to show with a record of some sort. And we currently use light, camera, electricity, circuitry, recording objects, evidence, fingerprints, DNA, all these sorts of things. But we have found that people can falsify or fabricate evidence. They can fabricate places, people, fabricate anything in today's world that is possible. There are impossibilities. There are some things in this life that cannot occur. And you'll learn about those if you study long enough and hard enough. You want to do research and you want to find out what is possible and what isn't. There are certain reactions and particle interactions and chemistry that is in certain circumstances or even non-circumstances that are impossible. There's certain energy that's impossible, like a perpetual machine that lasts forever and ever and ever. That's highly unlikely. But there are ways to create objects that last for a long time. It's just not perpetual, but it does last for a long time. And it could be rather efficient. So, we can make life better, but we can't say that it's absolutely perpetual. We would definitely have a God status of like perfection to make life absolutely perpetual. And it would be very strange. It may not be very good for the psychology or the psychiatry of living creatures. We don't know exactly every detail of what perpetual life would be like. But anyway, this is all evidence. And there's guilty or not guilty things in evidence. And that's what's important, is that you need to know what guilt is. And you need to be able to measure all of the dimensional aspects of the physicality of math, language, particles, atoms, energy, and their dimensions and their reactions and their motions. The definition of time is the motion of an object, of particles. Everything is geometrical. We don't know how to visualize particles because it's rather difficult to create an image of what a particle really looks like by using other particles to do it, because they don't absolutely adhere to what we want to do. There's reason to believe that particle interactions are kind of odd. Really, they're odd. Particle interactions, they do have a rule. They have rules, and we can find them to be true in some ways. But many ways, we don't know a lot of what we call chemistry. We don't understand quantum physics as well as we think. And there are still a lot of questions in evidence that people have not absolutely proven. And there are a lot of people that don't even study science whatsoever. And they just float in the world doing whatever they need to do with whatever problems that they have. And they just form a basic life. But that's because they're not interested in evidence or science or finding out the truth or living a longer life. Maybe they are, but they believe something that they don't want to study science, which is okay. We got to stop finding people guilty of things that just can't be forced upon humans. In some way, there's a basic set of rules that are unalienable human rights. There's animal rights, there's people rights, there's government rights, there's all kinds of rights. And anymore, it's getting to the point where we just sit on the couch all day doing nothing because everybody has a right to argue. So like, society needs to learn how to interact with itself, and how to provide evidence, and how to see that things are either guilty or not guilty, and how to suspect a criminal and faulty fabrication of evidence or faulty creation of evidence. You need to know your physics and chemistry and biology. You really do. That's one of the most core principles of life. We've discovered that you can't just do anything you want in physics, chemistry, or biology, which makes up the entire spectrum of life. And it's all made of particles. They just don't operate in the way that we could dream up anything. They're difficult to maneuver. They have a maneuver problem. They react specifically and non-specifically at the same time. The existence of physics, chemistry, and biology is just a fluke, really, and we can't explain it all. We are what we are, and we seem to be beautiful creatures. Maybe there are other beautiful creatures, but in the end, we don't seem to live perpetually. So, are we going to live perpetually? What are we going to be? What will we do? There's a lot of questions in this. People want to know the answers. Is there such thing as perpetual life? Can we sustain an infinite system that uses energy, breaks down, becomes corrupt, becomes an erroneous system? Anything like that. Evidence is all about whether there are errors or not as well. So it's questionable. It is extremely difficult to understand the absolute quantum nature of life. It is a very difficult system and or program. There are algorithms, there is programs, there's logic, there's science, there's orders of things, there's fabrications that are involved, there's tools and ideas and language, and you name it. Every object that exists is scientifically a part of evidence. It is what we're humanly capable of understanding even. And we have 5 fingers on our hands, and that's a sign of the most ultimate theories. Were we created by aliens? We don't absolutely have evidence of that, or at least I don't, but maybe someone does. So you got to say, what do people know? Is this a majority rule thing? Is this a who's guilty and who's not guilty? Should we be guilty? What are we doing here? Should we appreciate life? Should we not? There's a lot of questions in evidence. It goes to all forms of science to learn. I believe the goal is not to be guilty. I believe that we're meant to live as long as we want to. We're supposed to be happy as much as possible. We're supposed to tell the truth. And this video is a part of that. Evidence is really important in a lot of cases. Evidence of God, aliens, religion, science, existence, magic, sorcery, spirit, energy, everything. Machines, perpetuality, death, life, disease, poison, rape, murder, guilt, everything. It's all on the table. Thanks for watching. Peace.